Hello all, welcome to another endgame study of the Solving Other Studies to Improve Chess Calculation series. This one was composed by the Ukrainian chess composer Valery Vlasenko. It's white to play and to draw. As always, I suggest you watch the guide if you haven't, so you are better prepared for the practice. The main countdown of 10 minutes will start, and in the end, I catch you up to begin the guided solution. And let's go for the solution. Okay, it's white to play and to draw. Very fast we see in the initial position that black has a queen for a rook, so it's a big advantage. Besides that, it's just two moves away from promoting the pawn. So we are in a very limited situation, so we need to go with forced moves. That's the usual approach to calculate on this kind of situations. We are far behind on material and we need to draw, so we need to go and check immediately the checks that are the most forcing moves. And of course, if we are going to see them, we are going to have one rook to go to e5, another to e6. We also have a pawn delivering a discover check with the bishop. And so let's see what's going on over here. Let's say, for example, we start to look at the pawn moving. Of course, it's a discover check. We are not going to use black queen to block it. So let's move the king. Now let's bring one rook. Let's bring the sixth rank rook to check the king from above. The king goes to f3. And as you can see over here, we are already escaping with the king. So next move probably is going over there if we are going to be checked on the third rank. Then we are not able anymore to go and check it from there because our black knight is controlling the g6 square. So over here, very fast we see, okay, the king move away, next move the queen has survived, so it's going to come to the game. It's impossible to draw whatever from here. So we now remain with two options, and of course only one it's going to work, and it's not easy to see the small detail, the difference between the two. It's like a coin flip on the beginning, it's a 50-50, but we need to check them all. Let's say at the moment we are going to see that the rook e6 is not working. Let's say just one line. Let's say we block it with a queen. Of course, over here it's forced. Now we deliver the discover check. This forces the king to move to the side. Only now we take the queen, so the king comes. And notice that now we are facing a different problem. We are going to need to remove the rook, then to promote the pawn. This is the main idea from black. So let's say white makes it hard, pinning the pawns with the king. Notice that the king can come down because the bishop is already controlling the e1 square, so making life a bit harder for black. But of course, black can go very simply, just attack the bishop. So let's say the bishop moves to h2, otherwise it will be caught. From here, what else can we do? We can now let's say attack the no, let's remove the rook, so we are not being able yet to promote the pawn because we are of course under a pin. But let's say white makes some move that it's not going to help anyway. Now the king moves from the pinning, and of course next move it will be able to promote, so forcing the sacrifice. And from here, as you can see, it's already easy for black. It's going to be easy win. Okay, so we saw just one line with the sixth rank rook going for the check. Now let's go with the main move, which is, of course, the rook coming to e5. Check. So we block it with the queen, and first moment for you, we already analyzed a bit, so it's another countdown, this time 1 minute countdown. Pause if you need more. What is the correct move from white already from here? And let's see the problem of this position. Because if you are going in with a natural move of just grabbing the queen. Why not? It's the queen that's over the board and we need to catch it. Well, black just grabs the queen. Now we have the problem. Okay, black now is threatening to remove the rook and then promote the pawn. So let's go with the same idea. Let's pin the pawn so it can't go on. Black just starts with the rook removing to b1, the best square. Now we are just going to have two pieces attacking the pawn, which looks very promising for white, but black is still playing for a win over here, and the correct one is to go with a check. Of course, now we can't go with the king to a6, otherwise it will be a fork. We are going to lose the rook and, of course, the game. So the king needs to go to the corner. Notice that it's cut from the b file at the moment, needs to go to the corner, and it's black to play again. So what is correct continuation for black to win? There is just one move from black that allows it to win. Find it. You have 1 minute. Pause if you need more, and then I catch you up to show you and continue with the main lines. And yes, you need to find the very good move of going the king f3. So now we are attacking the bishop. Notice that the bishop is a key piece because it's protecting the checkmate from the rook on b8. In the situation, you haven't noticed that. So if the bishop just takes the pawn now, black just delivers mate in one, which is not the best idea for us, of course. And if we grab the pawn, well, the king just grabs the bishop, and of course, the rook is still threatening checkmate, and there is no way for white to stop it unless sacrificing the rook. This just delays the situation. We just grab the knight, and then we just need to be careful. Of course, we are not going to be back with the knight, otherwise it would be a stalemate. But we just can simply grab the pawn, forcing the king to move away from the stalemate, and then well, you choose the way to deliver the checkmate from here. It's to you. It's I think it's very easy. So as we saw in this simple position, suddenly we were not able to grab the queen that easy because black would find a way to go and deliver the checkmate. So another idea we have over here, it's we already saw that on the beginning, is why not going now with the discover check from the bishop. So let's go with f4 checking. Okay, the king moves to the side. Now we grab the queen as before. The king comes back grabbing the rook, and now white can go with trying another idea. We already saw that going with the rook to the side, it's not going to work. Do you remember why? Because black moves to the side, and now how can we already saw this one. Black is as a simple idea. We'll just bring the knight to remove the bishop from controlling the e1 square. Then the king just goes there and then promotes the pawn. So it's a lost situation for white if we are going with f4 and discover check. And suddenly we need to find another way. And the other way, it's a brilliant, ingenious one. It is to go not to f4 but to f3, double exclamation mark. So it's of course black to play. It's a forced move. So let's go with the king to the side. Again, we grab the queen. The king grabs the rook. And so find the next move, the next good move from white to go and play for a draw from this position. Another minute, pause if you need more, and then I catch you up again. And let's go. Okay, so over here, the only difficult thing to check is about the move order. Of course, we need to attack this pawn. So we have two options: either the bishop goes to f4 or the rook comes to a2. So these are more or less the easy candidate moves that we need to see. So the problem here is if we go with the rook now, well, black just can simply grab the f3 pawn, so attacking the bishop, and so we now have time to go and to work the things around to promote the pawn as black. So we are just going to use our knight, for example, to check the king. Let's go with the king moving to the side. Why to the side? Well, because if it comes to the b file, we just have a rook checking and then promoting the pawn, so we don't want that. And again, if he goes to a6, then the knight just will fork it and grab the rook, and so just making the things easier for black to go for a win. So the king goes to the corner. And when it goes to the corner, well, now the idea is a bit different. We just attack the rooks. Notice that either the rook stays controlling the pawn or tries to attack the knight. If it attacks the knight, well, simply we can just remove the rook with black to b1, let's say, and then we are going to promote the pawn. There is no way white can stop it. And if it stays on the same rank, so to avoid the control of the pawn, well, now we can simply check on a1. It's a check, the king moves, and then we promote. So this is the problem of starting with the rook a2. So we need to go with the other one, which is to start with the bishop f4. So exclamation mark, this is the correct continuation. Of course, now it's black to play, and black finds a very, very clever move. It's just sacrifice the knight with a brilliant try to catch white in a false move. So over here we can't accept it, of course, because if you accept, then the rook can deliver a check on a1, whatever move white tries to do it, it will be black promoting to a queen and easy win. So this isn't possible. Of course, coming to the b file, let's say going to b6 also doesn't work. We already know the drill. It's going to be another check. Whatever white does, the promotion will be unstoppable, and so white needs to find the only good way, which is to go to a8. Of course, from here the rook moves away, so the rook comes to b1, and it's of course for you to find what is now the move from white. It's the last stop we are going to do. Let's count down another minute. Pause if you need more. What is now from here the correct continuation from white until the end? And we already saw this before. We already saw the rook coming, and then we get this situation where two pieces are attacking the pawn. But aren't you wondering that what happens if now black goes to f3 like before? Because we are still attacking the bishop, so the bishop can't grab the pawn, of course, it's going to be checkmate. And Well, the other option is for the rook to grab it, but now we are going to face a similar situation. Black is just going to grab the bishop. Yes, but the fun part is in the previous variation, white had a pawn on f2, and that pawn avoided the most brilliant move you are going to see now, which is, of course, to sacrifice the rook. Why? Because suddenly we see if the rook accepts, the king is not under check, and so it's a stalemate. It can't move, and because it doesn't have the extra pawn on f2 that we saw in previous variation, if you want you can go back and check it. The pawn will go and advance, and so would avoid this variation from white. Of course, if we are going to be here and the rook comes to a1 checking the king, well, the king now can just move away to b7, and so we get the desired draw. The rook will be able to stand, and so we are able to save this very hard first position. Hope you have enjoyed as always. I catch you up with future videos, so bye bye and keep checking.